a lot of, I always say this, I feel like this generation of children growing up in general they're just freer. Like I have my son on one of the episodes we just did, and I just loved hearing him talk.
Oh.
He just sounds like a free, smart kid that can have all these thoughts and this and that. And to me, that's like, I don't know, it felt like an applause to me and his mom. Like, all right, this kid, he can just think how he want to. And that's dope to me. Like, oh, wow, you have all these ideas and you do. Like, you're comfortable in your own skin. And that's just a beautiful thing because it's like, I think about how many times I wasn't. And it took me almost, till I'm 40 to be like, oh, I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. Like, when you meet a person that's comfortable, it's wild, but it's become beautiful to me too. Like, I can't even, it's so funny. It is wild, but I don't even have time to complain about it.
Yeah,
that's true. Like, I got here. Fuck
you
it.
got here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know so many people that still haven't got there. Like, I'm literally chilling in that. Like, we went out to dinner last night, me and my kids and my girlfriend and her daughters. And it's just that moment of like, just sitting at the head of the table. It's kind of old school, but just watching everybody be happy. I was like, that's nice. Kids are happy. They're having conversations. They're laughing. Okay. Cool. That's what it's all about.
It is.
I'm chilling.
So
give me a cappuccino.
Those are the moments.
You have 2 girls, or
I have a little boy who's 4.5.
You have a little boy? Okay.
And a almost 7-year-old daughter. Yeah.
So being a girl dad, how did that change your outlook on parenthood and feminism?
You with the deep questions, man. I love it.
So
it's something that frustrates so many women when men say having a daughter changed me. Because we shouldn't have to have daughters to change. But having a daughter absolutely also did change me. And I have to admit that. Granted, I was on this course before. One of the principles in the Baha'i faith is the equality of the sexes. Right? We're told in the Baha'i writings that humanity can be likened to a bird. On one wing is male and the other wing is female. But it's not until the wings are equivalent in strength that the bird can fly. And so I grew up with this, and then I married my wife and learned so much about women and feminism that I hadn't thought of. And then I had a daughter, and it was the first time that I saw the world as a threat. Wow. And I wish that it didn't take that. I wish it didn't take me bringing a child into this world. And honestly, even if I had had a boy first, I still would have seen the world for the first time as a threat, because when you have a child, everything can kill them. Right? And you start to realize just how temporary this life is and how fragile and delicate it is. But with a daughter specifically, I just remember looking out and being like, man, I'm too late. The fact that I want to protect my daughter, I want her to grow up in a world where she doesn't need protecting from boys, where like that's not a sign of masculinity, that a boy has to grow up to be a man to protect women. What are we protecting them from? We're protecting them from other men. But other men are only allowed to be bad men because us good guys weren't good enough. We didn't have the conversations we should have had in the locker room when we were 13 or 14 and we heard the boy talking about like all the stuff he was going to do to the girl. We weren't man enough to have those uncomfortable conversations. We didn't go into that cold plunge because there's nothing worse as a young boy than being a traitor to your own gender. Nothing worse than being called a girl or gay, right? These are the rules that we've established early on. And it's especially true, as I'm sure you guys know, in the Black communities and in other types of communities where you've had to become hyper-masculine because the world is a threat, especially white men and women, right? So it's the same and culturally also very different and socially also different. So, you know, looking at this world, it's scary. You have a daughter, you look at it and you're like, man, wow, I was not a good guy. Then I start to think about all the men, the jokes about the dad on the porch with the shotgun, right? Well, why? Why did the dad sit on the porch with the shotgun? Because he didn't want his daughter dating somebody like him. Wow. So I thought you start to think about all of those things, And so when I had my daughter, I was like, I just kind of went into hyperspeed in terms of the work that I wanted to do with masculinity. And also, I don't want to raise a girl who is going to fit in the box. I want to raise a girl that's going to shatter the ceiling, the glass ceiling that men have put there. I want to raise a girl that's going to be loud and is comfortable being in quote unquote her masculine, which is really just another human aspect of herself. I want to raise a girl who grows up to be a woman that knows that she doesn't need a man, but she can want one if she chooses to like men. And these are not things that like were conscious for my parents' generation. I want to raise a young woman to grow up knowing that she doesn't need protecting, but at the same time, she has to be realistic about the world that she lives in and know that men are not necessarily safe places for her. And that only starts with me and my work and doing that work. So the answer is, it taught me a lot. I wish I could say like, oh, I was on this journey and I had, read all bell hooks and I had done all this and I was a feminist. But no, having a daughter did accelerate and put it into hyperdrive. Because we got to we need to create a safer world, not just for women, but for queer folks and trans folks and for everybody. Because we're fucking humans. And we're all on this floating rock together, But
that's what's so interesting. It's like all we need to do is create a world where everybody's comfortable with who they are. And also learn that some shit ain't none of our business.
Yeah, man. For real.